I was American born and I'll die in America.
Welcome to our group. Welcome to Defenders 7 and this ought to show it right here.
Do you or someone you know suffer from depression? If so, please contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Defenders 7 Tuesday night broadcast. Hopefully, I got all the kinks worked out of this and there's no interruptions with the show tonight, so we can go over our previous plan last week of doing this show. So welcome, and before we get into it, I need to read our disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on Defender 7 radio show and Facebook page are those of the callers and or authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Defenders 7. Now, with that being said, also like to welcome our Colonel, Kimberly PURVIS, which is also your host tonight, and I am your co-host and General of the Defenders 7, Bobby Ormsby. Now, we can also be reached on our website by typing in lowercase letters www.defenders, Roman numeral V as in Victor, with 2 small i's.com. Now, on our website, we have a store and a donate button. 100% of all proceeds from sales from our store and any donations we bring in go 100% back to our communities throughout all 50 states in a time of need. For example, any disaster relief they need, or any type of shit-it's-the-fan situation. So please, by all means, purchase something or hit that donate button. Every dollar helps. Help us to help you in your community. That's the only way that we're able to provide this service throughout all 50 states. Time for everybody to step up and pitch in. Now, we can also be reached on MeWe by clicking on organizations and scrolling down to Defenders 7 Humanitarian American Patriot Group. Or contact us on our national Facebook page by typing in the search box, all capital letters, Defenders 7. And before you hit that click join button, just know we expect all of our members and future members to participate throughout everything we do here in the Defenders 7. From training to survival training, disaster relief, etc. Now, if you get in and you feel you can't participate, you could always leave with no hard feelings. Now, for tonight's show and all the shows we do here on Blog Talk Radio, we love everybody's opinion, your thoughts, especially on the topic for tonight. So please give us a call. I'm opening up the phone lines. And that number to call, area code 914-205-5788. 914-206-7373. Again, number to call to participate and talk to us, area code 914-205-5773. And I am now bringing in our Colonel, your host, Colonel Kimberly PURVIS. Good evening, Kimberly.
Howdy. Howdy, howdy.
Howdy.
Oh.
And we also have Captain Lorna Munson from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Gotta put that twang in there.
Wisconsin. That's some serious slang.
Exactly. That's because people in Wisconsin are serious.
That's the Norwegian side.
Anybody else on?
Not just the three of us.
Oh, okay. Oh, well,
I'm having problems.
I know it's late, but a happy belated birthday to Allie. She turned 18. When was her birthday? Friday?
I think so. I'm not exactly sure.
The 21st?
Oh, okay. Sunday. Yeah, today's 23rd, 22nd, 21st. It was Sunday. Yeah, she is a big whopping 18 years old.
Same age as me.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Time's about 30.
Remind you guys, if you know anyone with an anniversary or birthday, and you want to let us know. We can give them a shout out and embarrass them, whatever. We're good at that. So, but I know tonight's topic can be a little sensitive for some people. So just bear in mind, this stuff happens. And it's not just to women. It happens to men as well. So I guess we're going to be doing for sexual harassment or harassment in general. I also went ahead and added on sexual assault to kind of go with it, because sexual harassment can go right into sexual assault. But we're going to talk about the harassment. Now, it doesn't have to happen at work. It could be anywhere, at school, work,
hold on.
Neighborhood.
What's that whistling?
Huh?
There was some kind of whistling or something in the background.
Oh.
Quit whistling.
I know. Damn. Apparently, like right now, there's a lot of harassment going on with politicians and a lot of athletes. And there's also a lot of it in the military, unfortunately. So it doesn't matter who you are, man or woman, anybody, like I said, anybody can be harassed. Now, let's start with the simple and I say simple harassment. Just say Jim Bob over there in another department thinks you're stupid and constantly making remarks about your intelligence. That's still harassing. If you don't like it and it makes you uncomfortable, then say something. Now, normally you would deal with the person one-on-one and be blunt. Hey, look, man, I'm not stupid. Stop calling me stupid. And if that doesn't stop, then you go to chain of command. Because there's chain of command in your work environment, there's still chain of command. You go to your direct supervisor, and if they don't fix it, then you just keep on going up as high as you can get.
We're going through that right now, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I had a form of sexual harassment. There was it was just an inappropriate comment that was made.
This ain't sexual harassment or anything. This is just her being a bitch. Period.
Yeah, and like I said, it could be anything. It's not necessarily sexual harassment. I mean, it could be insulting you about your work performance. They could be a straight-up dick. Sorry to you. You know what I'm saying? And they just constantly berating you with just mean, hateful things. That is still harassment.
Not to mention stomping and throwing shit around and slamming shit down and putting her snot in her skin.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And so that form of harassment turns into rage. She's got an anger problem, and it needs to be dealt with.
It is.
You know, they have. Do you have or what is that? Anonymous can call and make a complaint about something. I forgot.
Right now, we're working with. There's 3 owners. It's a father and his 2 boys that run it, and the main one. We just had a meeting with him and the HR lady, and the other owner. He wants her gone because she's been like this for as long as the one girl I work with for 23 years. And they just brush it under the rug. They have a talk with her, and that's it. Everybody's scared of her.
See, that's what happened to me at my last nursing job.
Here comes Lorna, who's got a big mouth. I don't put up with that shit.
Yep. I was harassed at a nursing job for it's not home health, it's like the group homes, and we have to count our narcotics and our controlled substances, like Neurontin has to be counted and things like that. Well, when I did the count, it was off. And the nurse who works for a shift gave the wrong patient the wrong medication, and I reported it. Well, she then cornered me in the med room, which is no bigger than a damn closet, wouldn't let me leave. And said I had no right to report her. You have a drug count. You can't just let it go. And that was, she gave medicine, the wrong medication to the wrong person. I said, look, if you don't get out of my face, you will end up on the floor. And instead of firing her, I got fired because she had been there for like 10 years. Yeah,
that's what happened to Tracy.
But see, here's the thing. When you just because they have seniority don't mean shit. I'm sorry. Because if you're responsible for making multiple people quit, they need to go. And that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
It costs more money.
Tracy called her out. Tracy called her out because she called her relative. I don't remember how she's related. Stupid or dumb or something like that. I don't remember. This was a few years ago. And she called her out on it, and Tracy got laid off.
You know what's cheaper to fire an employee with seniority than it is to train a new employee? It's like basic training in the military. It costs $30,000 to put one person through basic training. And if they have to be recycled, and if they fail out, there's another $30,000 that they have to fork out for the same person. So in the long run, it's cheaper just to get rid of the person who's doing the harassing.
Yeah.
So
I think we're finally seeing that because she's actually got grounds for a lawsuit against the company.
To mention, if you don't get rid of the person who's doing the harassing, your morale is down. Nobody's happy. Your production could be down, depending on what kind of job it is. And if you deal with customers are not going to be happy because if you're pissed off because someone's harassing you, and then it's like the kick the dog syndrome. You can't take it out on that person, so you're going to take it out on the next best thing. And, I mean, when bill collectors constantly call you, right? Are they not harassing you? So if you don't take it out on them, it's like our phone bill. I've had to call, and your first instinct is to just rip them a new asshole. The first person that answers the phone, because you can't deal with the person who's been doing all the harassment. Yeah, but like I said, any type of – now here's the thing. Well, I'm going to go into the sexual harassment part or even regular harassment. Just because somebody compliments you, that doesn't mean it's harassment. Okay, and I'm sure that – and I'm going to use the different generations on this one. Most, I would say, of your early millennials, the first group, and Gen X and boomers, they kind of, we have enough intelligence to know, oh, your hair looks nice today. Nice outfit today. Oh, have you been losing weight? Stuff like that. It's not sexual harassment. Now you get your newer, the Gen Z, who gets butthurt over everything. So now, here it is. If you think it hurt your feelings or made you uncomfortable, go ahead. Say something to the person. And all the person has to say is, fine, I'm not going to talk to you anymore, and they're solve the problem. So, like I said, just be mindful, of the people that you work with. So, the EEOC, which is the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, let's see, said the statistics from 2017 reveal that there were 6,696 harassment charges that year. Those are the ones that were actually reported. There was $46.3 million in payout for the victims in those particular sexual harassment cases. Victims are protected by Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and those involved maybe male or female. And it says as long as the conduct is unwanted and it doesn't necessarily require that the victim be the one who is directly harassed, which I don't know what the hell that has to do with anything. Now, just say if somebody touches you, I'm not sure how this is going to go. I guess it would depend on what state you're in. To go as far as assault, not sexual assault, but your actual physical assault. So, like I said, it depends on where you work and how your police department handles things like that. Now, if someone hits you, punches you or pushes you, whatever, that's actual assault. Assault and battery is actually what it is. If somebody hits you with something, that's assault with a deadly weapon. And it doesn't necessarily mean a gun. It could mean anything. A 2x4, a rock, a glass.
In Lorna's case, a rubber knife.
Well, yeah, you could still cause damage. Any work tool, you could throw a chair at it. So just remember, it's not always sexual harassment. It could be 26,978 claims of workplace harassment was received by the EEOC. Let's see, the number of our general workplace, it says of the 12,428 of the complaints were for sex-based harassment. So the rest of them was for other. When I say other, I mean, whatever. So a type of harassment in which a victim is made to feel unwelcome or uncomfortable in their job, it doesn't matter due to their gender. About a quarter of the harassment charges were specific sexual harassment claims. Here's the other thing. A guy can sexually harass another guy. The same thing goes for a woman to a woman. Now,
Bob and others.
Huh? Now, think about it. Now, think about it. What if a big buff guy starts picking on a scrawny guy or someone with a dad bod, right? That's still harassment. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, and the same thing goes for a woman. Now, what's the biggest thing that men? What?
That happened to my ex-husband. He was getting harassed by this guy in the bar. And he came over and hid out by me, and the guy followed him over, and I smacked the guy in the head.
What's one of the biggest things that guys will talk shit about to another guy? What do you think is one of the biggest things that guys will pick on another guy for? What do you think?
Man bun.
No, no, that is the new thing, man buns. No, they're packaged. Oh, mine's bigger.
Right.
Oh, mine's bigger. I don't really care, you know. And so you it doesn't matter. It's anything that's unwanted or makes you feel uncomfortable. So, and listen, guys, don't feel bad. You know, you could be as masculine as masculine can be. If somebody does something that you don't like, it doesn't make you any less of a man. It just means that, hey, man, I don't like that crap. Nobody deserves to be mistreated at work. Well, I take that back. If you're the plant asshole, yeah, you deserve it sometimes. I'm just saying. You know how we work. So 21% of Americans have encountered sexual harassment at work, according to the workplace harassment statistics from 2018. The new stats are possible through the recent Me Too movements, together with the latest research into the GIG economy. Of all those surveyed, 27% of women were sexually harassed at work, as were 14% of men. And of the 24% of Americans employed, 30% have experienced sexual harassment. So, like I said, I don't know what your company's policies are. When I worked at Ames department store, the guy made an inappropriate comment to me, and I told my boss. The guy got written up for it because that's your first warning is usually either verbal, but when it comes to stuff like harassment, it's your first warning is a write-up. Second was suspension. The third was suspension without pay. And the fourth time it happened, well, you just SOL and you got fired. So I just lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me.
You wouldn't believe how many people have quit this place because of her over the years. Tracy named off a bunch of them. There must have been at least 30 of them that quit, and on paper they put that they quit because of our supervisor. Now,
here's the other thing about stuff like that, about any type of harassment. When the company you work for, regardless of whatever kind of company it is, okay, appointed office is going to see the high turnaround, and they will want to know why you have a high turnaround count in your company. So it's expected to have, just say your company you work for, it's hot as hell, like manufacturing companies, like a gasket company. I worked at a gasket. We made gaskets for cars. And there's one section, they called it Hell Cell, and there's 4 injection mold machines, and it must get to 110 degrees in that department, in that area. They had a high turnover because it was just too hot. So unemployment will know for that wherever they came from. But if you have a high turnover rate, they will investigate why. Now, if you have to quit a job because of harassment, okay, I'm not saying that you have to do this. If you have to quit because your boss did nothing and you went to the very tippy top of the company, you can go to the Better Business Bureau, and you can also go to unemployment and file a complaint with them. And they will force the owner, manager, whatever, to deal with it. Now, some companies have what's called where they don't even have to have a reason to fire you. What's that called? You guys know? Hello.
I'm thinking. I don't.
Fire at will.
That's what it is. So they don't even have to have a reason to fire you. You don't even get warnings. So if you harass someone, they can be like, "So let's still hit you in the ass on the way out." So the statistics of sexual harassment.
What they're making us do is we're supposed to document everything that she is pulling in there and drop off.
Yeah, that will back if you keep a logbook. Huh?
I called in to harass Lorna.
Step in
and
line.
Bobby.
Now, you know what I think that comment was referring to? The one that I made earlier? Say that we're in a conversation out in public or at work, wherever, and we know what we could say to each other, right? And it doesn't matter. And if somebody overhears someone make whatever, like how we say that Weathers goes to the TA, because he's doing his, whatever. Well, we know he doesn't care. He hits it right back. But somebody else can actually make a complaint because they got butthurt over what was said in your group. So that's what that was. Because it can be offensive if they hear it. I know that's like, oh my God, grow a pair, just toughen up. But there are some people like that in this world. So statistics further show that 1 in 5 men experience being touched in a sexual and unwelcome way at some point in their life. And I know you guys, I know you don't care unless it's from another guy. 30% of women and 12% of men had been flashed. Cybersexual harassment is also rampant, with 40% of women and 18% of men experiencing it in their lifetimes. Now, the thing about the cyber, like the cyber bullying and the cyber harassment, unless you actually see them on a webcam, you have no idea what they look like. You know what I'm saying? Like these scammers and catfishers. You have no idea what they actually look like. It could be a 15-year-old pervert harassing a guy and pretending to be a woman. So just pay attention to whatever and know what your limits are. Street harassment statistics from 2018 reveal that 68% of women experience harassment in public places. And 31% experience sexual harassment at home. And that could be from any company that they have in their home. So men also can get harassed as well. Okay. So
Bobby harasses me every day.
Bobby's just a bully. I'm telling you.
I can
Need to go
verify
follow
that.
him. Huh?
I can verify that.
Now,
I was waiting for him to
can
pop
see.
in.
Oh, he's
I
napping.
can see. Yeah, probably. I can see. Now,
No, I'm
this
here.
is for.
I know you all
healthcare
talking
workers.
shit.
Now, I know Bobby will do this when he gets old. I can guarantee you Bobby will do this. This next one will be Bobby. Maybe Weather, too. I'm not sure. 81% of sexual harassment victims working in the healthcare are women. And I'm sure you guys know where I'm going with this. I have been pinched.
That's all John and Lorna.
Oh, bullshit. I can see you. You know what I'm talking about. When the nurse or the CNA comes in, the old perverted old men, and they'll grab your butt, your boobs, whatever.
Don't stick them in my
I'm
face.
telling you,
then.
I've had it done.
Don't
And
stick them in my face.
you know what people tell me? No, honest to God, do you know what someone says? Oh, let him have his free feel up. Really? Let him fill you up.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Now there was
Well,
mostly
if they have
to the nursing
dementia
home.
and they don't remember it.
I know, but see, sometimes you can politely, because I had to do this for one of the gentlemen I had that I was taking care of in a group home. He wasn't all there mentally, and he would take when I would have to give him a shower. Why me? Why of all things? And he had to sit in the shower chair, and we had to cover them up, and I would usually use the washcloth to cover him up. So what does he do? He takes the washcloth and throws it on the floor, on the other side of the wheelchair that I can't get to. So, and he would slap me in the butt, and I would simply tell him, no, you can't do that. Remember, we got to keep our hands to ourselves. So you can kind of polite, especially when they don't remember. So, yeah, and I'm sure that men, I do know that, like the fire department, the EMS, and all of that, they get a lot of harassment from older women. They will call 911 for anything just so they could get the fire department to their house.
That's Lorna.
I can see me doing that. I can see me doing that when I'm 90 years old.
Lorna does it now. Lorna does it now.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't rhyme with her. Another form of harassment is being verbally abused, which kind of does that woman at your work, does she yell at people?
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
me and her got into it, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Something like that. And I told the HR lady, I told her she's got to get her attitude in check or I'm gone. I'm walking.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to put up with that.
Oh, God, no, and I'm not going
Here's the thing. But here's the thing. You have to go up your chain of command. Don't just quit if you, and I'm not talking to just you, just say someone's harassing you, and you go to that person and they don't stop. Don't quit your job, and then when your boss wants to know why, you have no idea what they would have done. So always go to your direct supervisor, and then into theirs, and then all the way up the company. There's also sexual discrimination in your pay. When I started in nursing 21 years ago, the average age of nurses was 35. And there was little to no male nurses at all. if there was a male nurse, they were gay. Yeah, that's just facts. But about 10 years in, they started getting more male nurses. And they started getting paid more because they were a guy. And their reasoning, well, we're trying to attract more people into being a nurse. And we need, because they can handle some of the, the rowdy patients and this, that, and the other, and they could pick up. That's bullshit. And that's a sexual discrimination in your pay. Now, the same thing could probably go for any other company as well. 12% of female doctors get sexually harassed and abused. 21% of the UK doctors, I don't know why they got this stat in here, but 21% of UK doctors either witnessed it or experienced sexual harassment at work. Also, 22% of the healthcare employees who experienced sexual harassment were also assaulted. And that's why I said, if someone is harassing you, doesn't matter what kind it is, can turn into a physical assault, whether it's punching you, hitting you, or whatever, or sexual assault. Let's see. So in the case of sexual assault, statistics show that 28% of the victims never bring up harassment beforehand. They just kind of like overlook that. But that goes into why that person did what they did. 58% of all female surgeons have been harassed in some way. And sexual abuse in the workplace often goes unreported because sometimes nothing ever happens. And that's a sad thing. Like in the military, they make us go through all kinds of classes of what to do and what not to do. And no means no, which it does. No means no. And there's been a lot of reported cases of sexual harassment and assault from, I would say, your lower enlisted to officers. I mean, and it's now just coming out where, just because they're a high-ranking NCO or an officer, that don't mean shit. In the military, it don't matter. They don't have a right to do that. Let's see. Wow. 82% of women who work in an academic medical hospital, have been sexually harassed. Let's see. So here's this. This is what I was talking about. 53% of the time, the patient harasses the healthcare worker. And it could be anything. They could be in the bathroom and flash you, grab you, pinch you, poke you, whatever. Anything like that. Anything that makes you uncomfortable. Okay. That's some of the stuff. And 5% of victims will leave their job because nothing was done.
I did, but I forgot what it was.
It's about as bad as me. Oh, crap. So the next, my leg's gone to sleep and I got to move. Okay, sorry. So this next part is the sexual violence statistics and some other stuff to go along with it. Let me get to where I gotta get. In 2019, over 652,676 women were raped. It also non-rape sexual assault, but they included it in with it, so that could be. And it's been on the rise by 2.9% a year. More women get raped every year, and they don't see any stop to it. Over 40% of women in the United States have encountered sexual violence. And 41% of women in the U.S. sexual violence other than rape, and it could be anything, and sometimes more than once. Nearly 80% of all female sexual assault victims will experience their first assault before they're 25. I was 5. Now, not speaking about the pedophile part, but most of the time when it's children, it's usually by a family member, a teacher, a coach, a family friend, anything like that, or anybody, someone you know. When it's children, around 20% of American males have been the victim of sexual violence. Now, I know that some men can be embarrassed by this because I can't remember who it was, which doctor made this asinine comment about a woman cannot get pregnant if she's raped because of it goes for men. It's all by stimulation. So if you touch it, it's going to grow. So men can be raped by a woman. Don't let anybody ever tell you anything different. And what's sad is if a female teacher, and I want you to, Bobby, you and John, to honestly answer this question. If you had, in high school, whatever, if you had a female teacher that you thought was really hot or whatever, if she ever had sex with you, would you ever report it? John?
He's napping again.
I know. It's not that hard. No, honestly, would you guys report? Huh?
No, I'm here.
And you call me a slacker.
Bobby, would you report it if you were in high school and one of your teachers, female teachers, coerced you to do, I don't care what you want to call it.
If she was hot,
or said
no.
that you need to have sex with them to have a passing grade. Would you report it?
You damn straight, because I don't think that's it's. I'm trying to think of that word. It's inappropriate.
No, I know, but you know what I'm saying. But okay, that's what you're saying now.
I know.
But when you were a teenager and you're going through all your hormonal changes, here's what irritates the shit out of me. If a male teacher does it to a young girl, they're all up in arms.
Right.
But if a female teacher does it to the boy, it's like, woohoo, I scored. No, it's wrong. Wrong is wrong, no matter which way you look at it.
Right.
Shut up. You're a boy. I don't want to hear it. My son's like, I wouldn't say shit. But do you see what I'm saying? It's sad that there's two different standards for men and women, or boys and girls, whatever. A quarter of males of sexual assault were under 10 years old. And that could be, like I said, most of the time it's going to be by teachers, coaches. Usually there's teachers and coaches that assault boys. They're grooming them. I don't know if you guys I've seen on Criminal Minds, SVU, a lot of the football coaches, soccer, wrestling coaches. That's where they want to be, so they could be, a pedophile and think nothing of it because they're grooming those, and that's what happens. Let's see.
Don't forget about basketball.
Really? Honestly, I didn't know.
I'm going by one of the last crime shows.
Okay.
The one that you just mentioned.
SVU or Criminal Minds?
Criminal Minds. Basketball coach. Basketball coach was grooming.
Right.
Grooming the young players.
Yep. And the one kid, they ended up killing him. The coach did, and I cannot think of what he was a famous superstar basketball player.
A bunch of the professional basketball players said he was a great coach.
Yeah, and see, here's the thing that people need to understand. When it's boys and they don't report it, and I don't have the stats, and I have hard to find it. When it's boys and it happens over and over and over again, sometimes they're being groomed, and they end up becoming a pedophile themselves, or a racist, whatever you want to call it. Okay, or they go so long, and because they've never said anything, when they become an adult, they end up committing suicide because they can't live with that shame and that guilt. And you always have to remember, it's never your fault. If you are sexually harassed or even harassed, it doesn't matter. It's not your fault. It's the other person's fault. 20% of rapes are never reported, ever. Because a lot of times, and in my case, I reported mine. Mine was another soldier. And you know what happened to him? Not a damn thing. He got an Article 15, and he finished out his last 6 months to finish out his 4 years. And I get kicked out of the Army. Well, not kicked out. I was asked to leave because I said if I find him, I'm going to beat him, and I'm going to kill a man. And they thought, well, I was going to do that to another soldier. No, just him. So I have to live with what he did to me for the rest of my life, and he gets off scot-free. So a lot of times it happens that you report it and nothing comes of it. Men and women with disabilities will face twice the risk of sexual assault than able-bodied people. The way I think about the disabilities, it could be people that are nonverbal. It could be people that are wheelchair-bound, bed-bound, Down syndrome. You know, when I say Down syndrome, I mean the lower spectrum of it, where they're not as I don't want to take this the wrong way. You know what? Like a lot of Down syndrome people will get jobs like at McDonald's, Burger King, some grocery stores as baggers. Those are the higher end where they're more shit. Help me out here, guys. Would you say more intellectual than some of the opposite end? Higher functioning, I guess you call it. So,
higher functioning.
Yeah, so a lot of the lower functioning people with, say, Down syndrome or any mental illness can get assaulted because here's the problem. They think you're non-credible to ID the person that assaulted you. They won't take you seriously. So they think. And that's why a lot of disabled people can get assaulted. Nearly
right,
20,000.
Because they think they're not going to say anything or can say anything.
Exactly. But see, that also happens for children.
Sure.
When a man or woman sexually assaults a child, they'll say, especially if your parents are divorced or separated, they'll say, well, you'll never be able to see your daddy again, or you'll never be able to see your mommy again, or I'm going to kill your family. And a child will believe that. So it doesn't matter how old they are. You know, unless you're getting up to like 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, there's more of it. Like, yeah, okay, you're full of shit. But they still end up doing it anyway. Last year alone, 1,000 sexual assaults were reported in the military. Last year. That's how many was reported. That's not how many was actually done. They don't even know. 7.2% of all children surveyed in 2019 have been a victim of sexual assault. And about 70 women commit suicide every day because following an act of sexual violence. From personal experience, if you don't say anything, it will stay with you forever, eat you from the inside out. And trust me, I know this. I've been battling this my whole entire life. It can affect your relationships with your family, your spouse, if you're married, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever, and your children. It will affect you for the rest of your life if you do not deal with it as soon as you can. And here's the other thing. For children, actually this is for anybody, for children, if you've been assaulted and you go to your parents and they don't do anything, one, they need to be smacked upside the head. Go to the next person. Go to your neighbor. Go to your teacher. Somebody will listen to you. And the same thing for adults. Don't keep it inside because it will eat you alive. Let's see. Now, don't think that of all the reported cases, 5% of them are lies. That never happened. And I guess you'd call that morning after regret. That's what they call it. He didn't call me back, so I'm going to report that he raped me. She didn't call me back. I'm going to say she raped me. So percent of all rapes, they say, were actually vindictive acts that never happened. Now, do you guys believe that if a man or woman who reports a rape and is lying about it, do you think they should go to jail? Especially if they ruin the other person's life, like by getting them fired or whatever. Do you think they should go to jail?
Hell yeah.
Lorna? Now she's sleeping. I do too. I do too, especially if it's.
I couldn't get to my button.
Oh, that's right. You mute yours.
Yeah. What was the question?
If somebody reports, you're not even paying attention. I feel hurt. I am hurt right now. Not even paying attention. If somebody, male or female, it does not matter. If they report a rape or an assault and it never happened, do you think they should go to jail?
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. A friend of mine just went through that, actually. Well, not just went through that. It was probably a friend of mine just went through that about 16 years ago. His ex had brainwashed their children into saying that he had molested them. And he ended up sitting 18 months, I believe, in prison for it. And it was a mandatory psychologist that had to deal with the kids, and it got proven that it was all false. And he ended up wasting 18 months of his life, and obviously it destroyed the kids.
Well, not only that, but you got to look at the fact of what it does to him the rest of his life.
Yeah, his reputation is ruined.
Now, here's another thing. There's action, and this is part of the reason why I don't like hypnosis. Okay. Some psychologists and psychiatrists have gotten in trouble because when they do hypnosis, it can cause false memories. And they go and accuse somebody, they get arrested, put in prison, whatever, and they never did anything. That's why I don't agree with hypnosis. There's also that drug they can use.
Sodium pentothal.
Yeah. Though I'm kind of like on that too, but because you can't lie, I guess. You can't lie with those, you know. Well, that's what they say. I don't know how true that is. Damn, this one. Sexual violence incidents were preceded by stalking has gone up by almost 2%. A lot of people don't take stalking seriously. Nope. Stalking could be text messages, phone calls, emails, following you, coming to your house, knocking on your door. I mean, anything. If it's repetitive and it's unwanted,
I'm not knocking on anybody's door. I just enter.
You just so yeah, and a lot of times, if they don't take it seriously, then it ends up in a sexual assault. I had a stalker, but I fired a guy. I was the manager at Little Caesars in a mall, and here's the thing about this guy: he was the best opener. He was awesome. If he closed, forget it. He came in pissed drunk. And you can't do that, especially working with ovens and things like that. So I fired him. Well, proceeded to get pissed off, and he would come to the mall every night and wait outside. And I had to report. I had to call the cops and all this other stuff. And I actually had to have a security guard take me to my car every single day and come and walk me from my car to the – and by the time I went to court, he pled guilty. So, but a lot of times, sometimes they don't take stalking seriously. I'm sure I've seen every cop show there is, and there have been plenty of episodes of stalking that.
Because you're studying.
I know. I know. That's why my second husband was scared shitless of me, because I watched every episode of SVU, Criminal Minds, Criminal Intent, you name it. I watched that show, and he's like, "No, this is bullshit. I don't trust you." I'm like, "Why? Don't do something stupid." And he's like, "Because I know you could hide a body and nobody would ever find it."
Exactly.
Well, but in 2019, 13% of all women in California were victims of rape. That's a lot of women. Think of how many people's in California and how many of them are women. 13%.
Right.
Here's a hint. Don't go to California.
And think about how many have never reported it.
Exactly. But do you know why it's so high in California? I'm taking a guess because it doesn't say on here. What's in California?
Land of the fruits and nuts.
Well, that too. Hollywood. All the movie, the the movie directors, producers, all of that, all in California. And that's why a lot of children, and so that is probably a lot higher. And think about how many children stars, actors that have been raped by whoever. I mean, that's why California could just drop off the face of the earth and it'd be okay. Oh my God, my legs. So 1 in 6 women will be raped annually, not anally, annually. 1 in 33 men will attempt or complete a rape as a child or adult. No, my bad. They've experienced it as a rape as a child or an adult. 1 in 33 men. That's a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Over 1.5 million women, and this is what irritates me too. People say you cannot rape your spouse. They are full of crap. Because yes, you can. So over 1.5 million women were raped by an intimate partner, being your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend. Well, actually, whatever. And 834,000 men were raped and or physically assaulted by a partner. And people say, well, how can that be? Okay, prime example. He comes home from work. He wants sex. She's got a migraine. She's whatever. She hurts. She's tired. Whatever. She could just not be in the mood. She says no. He says too bad. That's rape.
Yep.
Same thing. If she comes home and she wants it, he don't. So no means no, even if you're married to that person.
Yep.
So let's see. I went over that. Oh, no. Okay. So contrary to popular belief, girls and women can most definitely be perpetrators of sexual violence towards males. And instances like this are more prevalent in society than most people realize. So, I mean, it doesn't matter, guys. It does not matter if you're a male or female. Approximately 16% of males in juvenile prison have been abused. Is it not say? Oh, so whereas over 60% of males in these facilities had incurred. So they're getting sexually assaulted by the guards or other inmates in the juvenile facility. And I've seen plenty of cop shows, of course, that have juveniles in the juvenile hall that get abused. They get punched, they get kicked, mistreated, and they're told, well, you're just a hoodlum. It doesn't matter. It never happened. It doesn't matter how bad of a person you are, unless you're a pedophile. You don't deserve it, which is why they do not put rapists and pedophiles in gen pop in prisons, because they know what's going to happen to them. What do you? I'm not going to guarantee it. I could pretty much figure that 9 out of 10 or 99 out of 100 inmates who are pedophiles will be beaten to death.
Oh yeah.
While they're in prison.
Yep.
That's why they get put in lockup. I mean, what you call it, solitary. I'm sorry. At what point in time did they? And this is about like you said, my personal opinion. I'm sorry, but rapists and pedophiles have no rights. They lose all rights when they molest, rape anybody else. That's just my opinion. And if you're caught
I
in the
agree
act,
with that opinion.
Caught in the act, It should be death penalty straight up. Save taxpayer dollars. And people may think it's harsh. I'm sorry. No, it's not. It's what they deserve.
It's not, because whoever the victim is has got to deal with that the rest of their life.
Exactly. Not only that person, their family has to deal with it, because here's what, I'm not saying it's going to, but it can. Like I said earlier, that person can either commit suicide because they can't deal with it, or it causes problems in their relationships and everybody else suffers. So it's not just something that you at the individual deals with. Everybody around them in their immediate circle will deal with it in some way, shape, or form. And here's my personal opinion, because of my experience. I've dealt with psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers to deal with what's happened to me. Okay. Sometimes you can't relate to them. Sometimes you just can't. Because if something similar to what happened to you did not happen to them, it's hard for them to relate to you. I don't care how book smart they are. That's why you have AA, or one for like drug addicts. What's it called? NA, Narcotics Anonymous. Do you think? And this is another reason why veterans turn to other veterans. Why? Because you will find a veteran out there who's experienced something that you have. So, that's why a lot of mental health is just, it's a mess. So if you're fortunate enough to find someone as a counselor or whoever who's been through something similar, a lot of times it helps. That's what was it? There's a difference between empathy and apathy. There's a big difference in the two. It's like when someone loses a child and they say, I'm sorry, I can only imagine how you feel, or whatever. No, you can't. Not unless it's happened to you. So,
yeah. When I lost my son, everybody says, "Oh, go to this counselor, grieving counselor," blah, da, 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 and get there. They never lost a child, and they were sitting there telling us how we should feel and when we should feel it and how long we should feel it.
Exactly.
And I walked out. Yeah, that's no.
You agree? There's no right way or wrong way to. Well, actually, I don't want to say there's no wrong way to grieve. The wrong way would be taking somebody else's child to fill the position of your child. So that's the wrong way to grieve. But you know what I'm saying. You cry as long as you want. You got to take care of yourself when you grieve for anything, but you eventually it will get less and less. I lost 3 children.
I didn't get my chance. My sister-in-law told me that since I wasn't there when the accident happened, that they need to deal with their father, and I'm just not worry about it. And that
wow.
I can have children of my, or have more children because I was young. So I just locked myself up, and that was it.
I can't.
Don't
you know what?
Me.
I was 12 years old. My mom had a miscarriage. I had no idea what that meant at 12 years old. I said, what are you crying for? You can always get pregnant again. And sometimes I feel like I was being punished for saying that to my mother because I lost 3 children. I was only like 6 weeks pregnant. You don't even know you're pregnant. And then the other 2, I was 12 weeks and 16 weeks pregnant. I actually felt that baby move. The first beginnings of the fluttering. It bothers me to this day still. And that's been let's see, I had my oldest. She's 32. Not yet. No, she'll be 32. So after I had her, I lost 3. And then I had my son in 92. And then he almost died. And then my daughter was born in 95. And she almost killed me. So I was like never meant to have children. My body just was not built for it. Because he was born 6 weeks early. But people are like, well, you didn't even see the child. Wow. Okay. And you want to throat punch that person. You really do.
Yeah. And in my situation, to top things off, I was on a sister-in-law getaway in Vegas when he died, and they were planning on telling me that he was okay until I got back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, I don't know what's worse. I don't know. I think I could figure out which is worse. See, like, you give birth to a child, you have the child, and they die within a short amount of time. And so it's kind of like, well, you got to hold your child. I never did. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or if a child's born sick.
That's exactly how I feel. Because my son, he turned 5 on April 1st. He died April 21st in 91. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah. And when somebody dies or loses a child, say they got in a car accident at 18, and I just say, well, be happy you got them memories because I only got 5.
Right.
Exactly. And you know, some of the other things that I may go through, or I have, and it's going away slowly, is I don't even know if it was a boy or a girl. And I've looked, and this is what, it crushed me a lot. What would they have looked like? What kind of person would they have been? So,
yep,
yeah,
exactly.
A lot of that.
But my youngest son, you can't hardly even tell their baby pictures apart. So I kind of got an idea that way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's one way of, but it's still hard, and people should not.
Absolutely.
I mean, and honestly, that's still abuse. It could be verbal abuse. Anything that upsets you or does anything, that is a form of abuse, no matter which way you look at it. So in Florida, wow. In Florida, almost 1.5 million men have been a victim to sexual assault. Damn. Over 25% of all male sexual assault victims, it'll be before they're 10 years old. I think this next one's kind of wrong, because this says nearly 40% of all adult males that experience sexual violence from an intimate partner are left with psychological scarring. I don't see how you couldn't be. Because to think about how close you have to be to that person. That could be your wife that assaulted you, right? Or your girlfriend, whatever. How could you not be scarred? Emotionally scarred from that. You'd have to be a pretty cold-hearted person to not, have any emotions about it. And that's wrong. Guys feel. They have emotions, but according to us, we have no feelings that we're well aware of. Let's see. In New York, it shows that 18% of all rapes in the city involved a male victim. Damn. So, let me see how many more. Make sure I didn't go over some. Some of this stuff is kind of repetitive. Almost 95% of child victims knew who their attacker was. Like I said, that most of the time it's family friend, family member, teacher, coach, priest. Most of your priests are Catholic, from the Catholic Church. I'm not sure if there's been any like Lutheran or Methodist. Not saying there isn't now, Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's a lot of, weirdos out there. But most of it's your Catholic Church. And then who was it? Who was it, Bob? You brought it up. A judge. Wasn't it a judge?
Yeah.
That just got arrested?
The transgender.
For the drag queen hour or whatever.
Yeah,
and,
he was like the top guy.
Our DA here too just got popped for videotaping himself privately with women so they get out of their charges.
Yeah, but see, Lorna, this was the judge that got busted was reading storybooks to children.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's kind of like where a lot of pedophiles will scope out playgrounds, school grounds. He had, and I hate to say this, a pick of children, but by bringing them in, and that's how a lot of them do it. And so, before I forget this, because of this transgender bullshit, and I will say it that way, transgender bullshit, where a man says, I identify as a woman, and goes in the woman's bathroom, somebody actually did that and raped a woman in the woman's bathroom.
Yep.
And he said he identified as a woman. And that's going to leave an open door for men to rape women and girls in the bathroom. So here's what needs to be done. It's a men's room, the women's room, and a transgender room, and I'll be damned. So, not to get off subject, but when they say transgender, have they had their stuff, cut off or sewn up or whatever, or do they still have their biological body parts when they say transgender?
They haven't gone through the procedure yet. That's why they're transgender.
Ah, okay. Well, that's also called a transvestite back in the day.
Yes.
When men dressed as women, that's called a transvestite. So sorry, you are not transgender. You're a transvestite. You like to wear women's clothes.
So
sorry.
what's the name of them after they get their junk cut off?
They're a woman. They're just a biological man, but no, I mean seriously, if a guy says I'm a woman trapped in a man's body and they get their junk chopped off, they get boobs, they go through the hormones and they continue to take the hormones, okay, then you could say yes, now they're a woman. But they're still biologically a man. Okay. And the same thing with a woman. She's now a man. She's got a fake penis, but she's still biologically a woman. So unless they've had the surgery, they should not be allowed in the opposite sex's bathroom. Sorry. Because if I see a man come in there in a woman's bathroom and there's children in there, and like when single dads and they bring their daughters and they're too big to go into the men's room, because a lot of times, I think my son was probably, maybe 5, if that, before I started making his dad take him to the bathroom in a public place. He's a little too old to be in the woman's bathroom after they're 5 years old. So, trust me, I ain't leaving that bathroom until that man gets out. So like I said, less than 10% of rapes that have been filed were false. Let's see. And the sexual assaults in the United States cost billions of dollars annually. And that is from from the police investigations, any hospital costs, therapy costs. I mean, everything combined. It's billions of dollars. Let's see. 69% of rape victims are from the age 12 to 34. Well, like I said, I was 5 when it first started. But that's called incest because it was my grandfather. But they're saying most is 12 years old, but it is younger, actually. This one says transgender college students have a 5% higher rate of getting raped than other students. Now, I don't know if that's because, like, if a man is transgender and he hasn't, like he just, I could see if another man does it because he's trying to say, oh, now you're a woman, and that's when they get sodomized and this, that, and the other. I mean, I could see that because I've seen a lot of shows where the student was gay and he got beat. So, because he was gay. So that when it's the same male on male, I'm not saying it is, but I could see that's why it happened. Let's see. In America, a sexual assault happens every 93 seconds. Wow. That's a lot. What is the suicide rate for veterans what was it? How do they figure out what the suicide rate was? I know it's 22 a day, which I think is actually more than that.
Yeah. We said that.
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. Honestly, they think it's probably a lot closer to 27 a day, because here's the thing. They don't know if a veteran they don't even know sometimes if it's a veteran, because they could be a police officer and still be a veteran. Considered a veteran suicide? I don't know. Let's see. I think I've gone over that. And for every 1,000, wow, that makes me feel so much better. Not. For every 1,000 rapes in the United States, 995 perpetrators will go unpunished. 5 out of 1,000.
Or they get minimum time, because there's the bus driver up here locked up this one kid in his barn and raped him, and I believe he only got 6 years.
Yeah, and I honestly believe that there should be no first-time offense. Sorry, if you get caught in the act, or if they have unequivocal evidence of that you did it, it's 25 to life or the death penalty. One or the other. There should be no 1 year, 2 year.
Done with and gone. Get rid of them.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It should be 25 to life. Think about it this way. In Florida, it's called 5, 10, 5, 10, 15 life. If you rob a store, you get 5 years automatically, no matter what. You bring a gun, it's 10 years. If you bring a gun and use it, like show it, it's 15. If you bring a gun, rob the store, and actually shoot it, you get life, no matter what. So why shouldn't rape and child molesting and all of that go along? Actually, it should be stricter than 5 years, but it should be just as strict, if not more. They're putting people away for multiple years for animal abuse, more than child abuse.
Yeah, I don't get that.
And you know what? I think, and what they say is, well, an animal can't say anything. Yeah, well, the children. This is what got me when I became a nurse. children and the elderly are the two biggest populations of people you need to protect. Because most elderly, one, they can't defend themselves. And if they get to the mental state where they can't, they need someone to protect them. And that's always been my biggest pet peeve. When people our age, look, you got a mouth, use it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, use your mouth. So here are some date rape statistics. The most common date rape drug is rohypnol, GHB, and ketamine. Ladies, ask ladies or men, whatever. If you go to the club or a bar, wherever, you go to a party, never, ever, ever, ever leave your drink unaccompanied by your own eyeballs. You can either put your hand on top of it, while you're not drinking it, but always keep your drink covered. Always.
I'm horrible at that when I'm dancing. Oh my God.
That's why I get small drinks that you can drink and then, put your glass, whatever, give it back to the bartender, and then go dance or do whatever, or do shots.
I drink beer.
If you can bring I know some bars and some dance places you could bring your drink with you into the bathroom. I would. Damn straight. Now, here's the thing. If you go with a group of friends, I would hope they'd watch your drink. But what if they turn their back and by accident, and somebody could come and put that shit in your drink? Another thing that people use is scopolamine drops. They can throw that stuff in your drink too. Let's see. You could also end up with date rape in your own home, which is what happened to me. I worked with this soldier from another unit, and we got stuck on trash detail, which really sucks because when you're new to a unit, you're the first person they throw. For 1 week, you get to pick up the whole entire base and walk around with trash bags. And that's how I met this idiot. And I invited him over for dinner. Not thinking, you would think that, and this is why I don't understand why the military has such high percentages of date rape. You're held to a higher standard. I don't know, well, Bobby, you were way before I was. When were you in? Bobby?
Napping again.
I know. Geriatric patient.
I know.
Bobby! I was in 2000 and I went in 2007. Okay, I was in late. I was 37 when I joined the Army. And it was you were always held to a higher standard, and they made us go through stupid classes, which I don't agree with. I don't, because they told me don't fight it, just sit there. No, bullshit. No, because I could have fought back, but my daughter was in the house, and that's the reason why I didn't, because I didn't want him to go do it to her. But I thought I was safe in my own home. I honestly, but he does and shit like that. So it doesn't matter where it's at. It can happen anywhere. Let me see. I'm trying to think of anything else that's on here. Men who are victims of date rape are more likely to suffer from PTSD than women in general population. I don't know about that, but
I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah,
no matter if male or female, if you get raped, you're going to suffer with it.
Yeah, well, that's saying I don't think date rape. I mean, that's, to me, I don't think date rape is as common as what they're saying. That should be women, men or women who have been victims by sexual assault will have some form of PTSD, some form. And see, the other thing that gets me is a lot of people say, well, that happened so many years ago. Just get over it. How about I punch you in the face and you get over it? Or how about I break your kneecaps with a baseball bat and walk it off? Just because that you were assaulted, it doesn't matter at what age. If it still affects you, if you have triggers, and I hate using the word trigger, it's not the same as like a snowflake being triggered. It could be from, depending on what happened with you, it could be from a car backfiring, doors closing. You're hyper vigilant and you pay attention to everything. A lot of times when you're walking, you'll always wonder who's behind you. Why? And this happens to me a lot. Why are they near me? Why are they touching me? Why are they looking at me? And it still has not gone away. And it's been over 10 years for myself.
Yeah, I know.
So
I'm a jumpy person. Somebody moves quick next to me, I'm jumping.
Let me tell you something. The first couple years, I can't live in a townhouse. And when we lived in West Virginia, I lived in a townhouse. I never slept upstairs. I slept downstairs. It took a lot for me to go upstairs in my bedroom. My son's dog slept with me. And I think that's where it started because he gets that protection mode. And he'll sleep in bed with me, and he puts his head on my pillow, or he'll put his head and half his body across my back, or he'll sleep between my legs, and that's that protection thing. So I'm not. Hey, he could have picked up on it. But if I heard car doors close, I'd jump. I would jump if I'm in the house. I'd hear a car door close, and I would jump up to see who it was. If I hear any noise, and my kids would be like, "Mom, oh my God!" But they don't realize what it does to you. Now,
yeah,
it's not as bad, but
I don't realize I'm doing it until somebody says something to me.
Mhm. But the thing that stuck with me, and I still do it to this day. Somebody could touch me on the shoulder, like saying, "Hey," and touch me, and the first thing in my head is, "Why are you touching me? Why are you this close to me? You're in my bubble." And so when I did that that CBT or whatever it's called, cognitive behavior therapy, I guess, you do go through a lot of things, and what you should retrain your brain on what not to do, what to do, and I never got. And the thing is, a lot of people are victims of assault. Some of them will get to the point where they think the world is a dangerous place, and they could become agoraphobic, which means they can't leave their house. What amazed me was in 2017, I went overseas by myself for 3 months. And I was in Ireland, Scotland, and I ended up in Turkey. Of all freaking places, I was in Turkey by myself. An American woman in Turkey. And I survived. And that's what makes me feel better. I'm sure you guys have all heard about Turkey, and God forbid that you're a woman over there. Now, the men, are they Arabs or are they Muslim? Or is it the same thing? Arab, Muslim? What is Turkey as far as...
I always thought it was called Turkish.
No, I know. But are they Muslims or are they...
That's
Bobby?
a Bobby or what question if Bobby would get his ass up and wake up.
No shit. But anywho, and here, this also goes into sex trafficking. It can. When you go to Turkey, and if you have a layover, you have to hand over your passport and your connecting flight ticket to the hotel. And you don't get it back until the next day. And me and this other woman, she had a little baby. She was traveling by herself. And we're like, great. We're going to disappear and forever because they got our passport.
Why did they
and a
do
lot of
that?
times that's what happens. Yeah, they do that. And that's the first thing that came to my mind. And
what's the reasoning behind that? What's the reasoning behind that?
You know what? In all honesty, I have no idea. I think it might be because they don't want you taking off in their country and staying there. Let me tell you something. You don't want to go to Turkey, okay? Okay, Istanbul may be beautiful by the beach, but the rest of it, there's over 1,000 hotels in Istanbul. Okay, their 5-star hotel is our 1-star hotel.
Oh, wow.
I kid you not. Now, don't get me wrong. There's small rooms. You get your free, when I say free continental breakfast, I mean full, all-out buffet breakfast. So, yeah, that's how they get you. The hotel wasn't that bad. It's just the outside because there's so many of them, and you're just cramped in. It's not that great. I mean, and here's the thing. I flew from Scotland to Istanbul, and I was awake the whole time, the whole flight.
You were awake?
And, yeah, I was awake. I had a 19-hour layover. Now, I could have stayed 19 hours in the airport. No, I was not. I stayed awake for that 19 damn hours that I was in the hotel. And they have those things. They don't have light switches. You take your room card and you stick it in the little slot in the wall by the door, and your lights come on. They're on timers. And when you take your card out, after so much time, the lights shut off. I'm like, screw this crap. I'm not even sleeping in the bed. I just slept on top of the bed, left the lights on. I set like 4 alarms because I said I'm not missing this damn flight. But the whole thing was I survived being by myself in a bad foreign country. So, you know. What was the question that we asked Bobby, but he was sleeping?
No, I wasn't sleeping. I had to take an important phone call.
Oh, okay. Lorna, what was the question we wanted to ask?
What are Turkish? Are they Muslim or?
Oh, yeah. Do you know if they're Muslim or Arabic or that's the same thing?
It's all mixed over there. It's all mixed over there. I mean, you do have some Muslim communities over there, and you do have some Arabic. But
yeah, that's what it was, Arabic or because here's the thing. The clerk for the hotel, God forbid if he spoke 2 words to me. He was rude and obnoxious. He didn't hand me my passport. He dropped it on the counter. But any man, there was American men that was there. They talked to them. They shook their hand, said welcome. And to me, it's like, here's your room number. And, you know, it's like, wow, well, piss off.
Yeah, because they look down on women.
But let me tell you something. They're afraid of Haitian women.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. They're afraid of Haitian women. But Turkish Airlines, now that's the shit the way they fly. And the stewardesses, male or female, they do treat you with respect, no matter who you are. So
sure.
There's a big difference between, and their airport security is top notch. You go through security check 6 times before you get to your gate.
Right.
And I hate to say it, I'm like, wow, You're the be-all and end-all Muslims, a lot of, I won't say just Muslims, Arab in general, of terrorism, and you got the strictest freaking security. I kid you not. It's like every 10 feet you're going through security. I swear. From my gate, where you go to check in to get your gate, you will go through security 4 times in a matter of 50 feet. And I'm like, dude, seriously? It didn't change from 10 feet ago. And they will go through your bag and check everything that you have. Okay, so back to the other topic. Okay, so if you're out, if you're too intoxicated, get a cab, go home, or have a DD. Never go home with somebody else if you're too drunk, because I don't know about you, Lorna, but back in the day, you know, when you drink, you're more passive, and a lot of people, I don't know about men, they become more open, or they call it liquid courage, and they become more susceptible, more open to flirting and this, that, and the other, and somebody could take that as your yes.
Oh, do I know? Oh, do I know?
Yeah.
But when I go out, and I'm usually by myself.
Lorna does it every weekend.
No, I don't.
I always had a DD when I would go out.
I'll put a pillow and blanket in my truck. Sleep in my truck. Done it a few times.
Easier to seduce the men, right?
Yeah.
What?
Easier
Easier to seduce the men.
Guys.
Whatever.
Here it is, guys. Now listen, a drunk yes is no. Either way, for the men or the women. The same thing with if you're doing drugs. If you're not sober, it's not a yes. I don't care what anybody says. Let's see what else. If you can and you're too drunk, sleep in your car. I had to do that once. Unfortunately. I drank a little too much. Let's see. Avoid being intoxicated. It impairs your awareness.
If you sleep in your vehicle, make sure the keys are not in the ignition.
Yes, because they can still get you for drunk driving.
Throw them up underneath the passenger seat.
Yep. Lock your doors and your windows, and that's it. Always try to maintain control of your drink and don't accept drinks from others unless you see the bartender hand it to you. You know what I'm saying? If somebody buys a drink, if the bartender's giving it to you, okay, that's different. But if Joe Schmo or Betty Boop over there brings you a drink, don't accept it. Just don't, you don't have to be rude, but whatever. Use the buddy for the reason why you have battle buddies in the military. At least I know in the military. I know at Fort Campbell, when I was there, the suicide rate went through the roof for active duty. And that's when they made it mandatory that you had to have somebody with you at all times. You go to lunch, you bring a battle buddy. You go to your car, you bring a battle buddy. It didn't matter. They're supposed to keep you out of trouble. I don't know what to say about it if you're both troublemakers, but be sure of yourself and assert yourself. If you don't want to do it, say no. And if that person does not accept your no, then that's just tough shit. Walk away. Or have someone help you. It's okay to pour a drink out if you lose control of it. So, now, GHB and ketamine are generally tasteless and colorless, but GHB can have a salty taste. Mine, he put mine in my sweet tea. Yet again, I'm in my own home, and I made both of us a glass of sweet tea, and I was making dinner, and he put it in my drink. So it doesn't matter. If you detect any change in flavor of your drink, pour it out. If you have any of these symptoms, you may have been drugged. Dizziness, lightheadedness, loss of muscular control, blurred vision, seizures or blackouts, lost sense of time, and again, trust your instincts. In my instance, I did have like a blackout. I have blocks of memory that it's like it skipped. I fast forwarded. And I kept thinking there was something wrong, and I kept going to the bathroom, making excuses to go to the bathroom. But I in my mind, I couldn't put a finger on it. And so because I said yes one time, the counselor that I had called me a vindictive bitch. And when I say I didn't do anything, I didn't do anything, and he still beat the crap out of me. Slammed my head into the wall 3 or 4 times, and he even admitted it. And nothing happened to him. I had bruises down to my bones on my back, my chest, my thighs, my legs. I had bruises everywhere, and I did not fight. So, unfortunately, you could fight and they could kill you, or you could not fight and they could kill you. So play it by ear. If something happens to you, try and get out of it if you can. Bobby, I think we need to get you to do some videos on self-defense.
Yeah.
To avoid getting in that situation.
Yeah, my daughter wants to get involved in that.
I mean, because there's so much that it could be done.
Oh yeah.
To protect yourself. So that could be all that I have.
But with Lorna, we got to do it. Picture book pages.
Picture.
And we can only use rubber. We can only use rubber knives.
Yeah. Okay, so we have 10 minutes left, and I have this awesome. I just thought about this. This is that you just can't make this shit up, and I really can't. My son's standing here, but he probably doesn't remember the story. It's about his dad. There was a commercial, right? And it was Walt Disney's 30-second movie, and they went through the preview, right? And me and his dad and the kids, we were all sitting there in the living room, and they said Walt Disney's 30-second movie, and I don't know what movie it was. The commercial's over. His dad goes, "Well, that's the bullshit." I'm like, "What? A 30-second movie is called The Commercial. What the hell are they talking about?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You're an idiot. 30 seconds after 31, before 33. And he just sat there and looked at me like I was retarded. And he's like, "No, that." And then I said, "Think about it. 30 seconds, 32. And he just stood there. He finally got it after 5 minutes of me trying to convince him their 30-second movie was not a commercial. It makes sense if you think about it. Their 30-second movie. Well, no shit, it's called The Commercial.
Right.
Did you guys? I've got to figure out how. Did you guys see the video that I posted in on the national page?
Yes.
The one with the girl.
Yeah.
I wonder if we could play that video for people to hear it. Because I swear to God, that was.
I know. I'm still trying to figure out how we could do that on here. I know
Hold
you
on,
did
let me
it.
see, because you know how I did it? It was on YouTube. And because I was trying to do it from my phone, it wouldn't let me. But if it's so, let me go to the group and let me see if I could do this. Because hold on, let me see, group. Come on, go to group. This new laptop, it really wants to be a pain in the ass. Okay, Defenders. Now, bear in mind, this chick is probably a Gen Z. I kid you not. Shit. Where is it at? Oh, here it is. Now, let me see if this works. I'm going to play it and tell me if it works. Hold on. Okay. Do. Oh, well, crap. Why is it? Oh, the volume's off. Hold on. The video, my audio was off. Okay. Let me try this.
And then you press this button, it will undo the accident. Hope this helps.
Okay.
Okay, I thought this was common knowledge, but for everybody who doesn't know, if you get in a car accident and then you press this button, it will undo the accident. Hope this helps.
Did you hear it?
Common knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know the button that says it circulates the air in the car? Yeah, she was saying, I don't know if you can hear it really well, but that's what she was talking about. If you hit that button and you get into a car accident, it will undo that car accident.
Wow.
Yeah. And, on top it says you push the button, it has to your feet, and the other one's defroster. And because if you look on like Microsoft Word, and it's got that little arrow, it looks just like that. You'll undo your last thing that you did in Microsoft Word. This chick is so stupid that she said if you push that button, if you get in a car accident, it'll undo your car accident. I'm sorry.
You can't make this shit up.
You can't make this shit up. That is just too damn. Oh my! You know what? I'm just gonna go through TikTok and I'm gonna find all these idiots because that's where some of the funniest shit comes from.
Right.
These Gen Z, they're about 20 years old, between 18 and 20, and they come up with some of the dumbest shit. And someone asked, one of the comments, she can't be serious, can she? Oh, she was dead serious. So was the girl who said, so was the blonde who said, I wish they'd come up with a machine that would heat up your food.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
They don't come up with salmonella. I don't feel like salmonella this week. Oh, they make my brain hurt. I can feel myself getting dumberer by 50,
right?
50 points. My IQ just dropped 50 points.
All right, we got 3 minutes.
Go ahead, do your thing.
Thank you, and it was a very informative and very fun show. I mean, we have to make it that way, but it was awesome. I appreciate both of you. And John,
I stayed awake,
even though he snuck out.
I think sometimes the topic is too much for some of them.
Yeah. All right.
And that's
so
fine.
God bless America. God bless our kids, first responders, troops, veterans, and God bless the Defenders VII. Everybody have a great night.
You too.